Good evening. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I'm getting this just a little bit later than I planned on. This has been a busy evening for me, so at any rate, I'll try not to drag this out too long or get too in depth with it because this potential snowstorm is still 5 days out, and a lot can change in that period of time. As we found out with one storm last winter, things can look magnificent up to 48 hours from the storm and can change and bust it. So, um, if you love snow, this is fun to watch, but don't get too wrapped up in it just yet. It's still a lot that could happen. We'll take a quick look at what the models were somewhat spitting out. I don't want to show the actual models because you start showing snowfall amounts and people start taking them verbatim. So, and especially with some of the numbers that the European was throwing out there, I don't think we want anybody taking that stuff verbatim. So, but here's a general idea of what they were doing. This was what the GFS was doing. It was bringing it. This was the morning run. The evening run, or late afternoon actually, the afternoon run is actually changed from this, and I'll address that. But what the morning run was doing was running the low pressure, the surface low, up the eastern side of the Appalachians. It has this little zigzag in there, and which I'll show you the European and Canadian are much more exaggerated with. Um, so it didn't make any sense for the core of the snow to be on the west side of the Appalachians and the lows running up the east side. Snow can be thrown over them, obviously, but you're not going to get very much snow. And actually, the GFS, other than a couple of runs, has been pretty stingy on the snow anyway. It has the upper level low dropping in from the northeast, and so that's what this dash line represents. And of course, the low would kind of get caught by it and turn up the east side. That makes sense, but to me, the upper level low diving in from the northeast doesn't make sense with the way things are progressing. The European and the Canadian models are doing something very similar to each other. They're dragging. It does start off the upper level low, kind of does start off from a northeasterly, but it all kind of fills in and begins to dive in from the northwest. And as it comes in from the northwest, it catches this surface low and begins to turn it to the northeast. If you remember in the winter video that I did, the winter outlook, I talked about the fact that I thought that we might have a couple of storms that turned hard northeast like this. Those can be feast or famine storms, and those are the storms that blizzards are made of. They're also the storms that big busts are made of. So a lot of things have to go right with them, and the European and Canadian are trying to make everything go right. I think we all know better than that. But what they're doing is, as it wraps up into the east side of the upper level low, you can see this little zigzag here. Well, what they do is they want to start to wrap this surface low around the top of the upper level low and kind of merge the two or phase them, and that gives good access to cold air, and it also allows the surface low to really start to drop in pressure and strengthen, which can lead to blizzard conditions, can lead to big snowfall amounts. So it does bear watching. It's possible. I'm not sure that it's really going to happen quite this way. I can see a little bit of a attempt to twist, but if the low strengthens enough, it'll actually try to continue to drive more toward the poles instead of being at the mercy of the jet stream. That's kind of a funny thing with surface lows. The stronger they get, they can almost start to dictate for themselves where they want to go instead of being at the mercy of running around this jet stream around the upper level trough. So what the Euro and Canadian are doing is dropping heavy snow from the Middle Tennessee Valley, covering a big part of the Ohio Valley, with the entire Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region with snow. But the heaviest snow would be in the eastern half to maybe 2/3 of Indiana, covering most of Ohio, almost all of the lower peninsula of Michigan. And again, some of the numbers that the European wants to spit out would be like, if you're a snow lover, would be dream numbers. It would absolutely destroy any snowfall records that we have. Probably not going to happen, so I'm not going to show that. So let me get out of this. So what I want to show you, I guess, while I'm on this screen, and I mentioned blizzard potential. To be a blizzard, people think you have to have a lot of snow. That's not true. You literally can have 2 inches of snow and have a blizzard. You have to have sustained winds or frequent wind gusts of 35 miles per hour or greater for a period of at least 3 hours. And you have to have visibilities that are dropping down to a quarter of a mile or less. Those are and so then that gives you the blowing and drifting snow. So you have to have the snow being blown by 35 mile per hour winds, dropping your visibilities close to zero in order to be a blizzard. You can technically have a blizzard with no falling snow, just snow that's already on the ground. So with that being said, we'll take a look at the European. What it does, this is at 1 o'clock Monday morning. These are wind gusts. They're in the lower 20s. They're in the mid 20s by 7 a.m. By 1 p.m. on Monday, now the European has winds gusting up to 38, kind of to 40 miles per hour out in western Indiana. And then it brings the 40 mile per hour winds across the state, and by this point has Anderson at 41 miles per hour, Muncie. So it ends up getting up to 42 miles per hour by 1 a.m. Tuesday morning. So it's given us a sustained period, probably an 18-hour period with wind gusts, maybe even 24 as I'm looking at here, of wind gusts over blizzard threshold. So that would be, pretty epic. We've seen that one time in my lifetime. That was 1978. So we'll see how things develop. But that's what the models are wanting to do. One more thing I want to take a look at here. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into this. This is the Canadian model. This is 500 millibar vorticity. It's basically showing you the energy that's coming with the upper level. And that gives you a good idea of where the storms are and how they interact. So you can see the cold air kind of, like I said, it does start from a northeasterly direction. The upper level trough starts to dig in. It's got a little bit of a finger that extends from it. And that's what will start to catch this, where this surface flow would be right below where this vorticity is. This would be Sunday evening. This is by 1 o'clock Monday morning. You can see the surface flow would be moving up here, and the this part of the vorticity was closed, and now it's starting to open up, and that allows it to kind of start to make connection with what's to the north. By 7 a.m. Monday morning, now your surface low is going to be out here in eastern Kentucky. You can see this trough of low pressure, this upper level trough, really starting to dig in. The heights up there are starting to drop to 534. 540 is generally accepted as what's needed for snow. That's not necessarily true. There are so many other factors involved that it can snow at, with higher heights. Sometimes it won't snow until you hit 536 heights. I'll do a post sometime or on the website about geopotential heights, so this stuff makes more sense. But just trust me, the lower this number, the stronger that low is. And here by Monday afternoon, 1 p.m., the low is now over here where the surface low would be. And here's the upper level low starting to extend itself now. By the evening, it's starting to pull this surface energy around. What I'm showing you is all upper level, but that right in there is where the surface low would be, is right below that. And then it begins to drop its pressure in the upper levels. Now it's down to 528 by Tuesday morning at 1 a.m. That begins to extend itself out. And then by the time we're getting to Tuesday evening, now it's down to 522. So this is really, the upper level low is strengthened a lot. It's completely pulled in the surface low. It's spinning all this energy. It's pulling cold air from the north, wrapping it around into a core. and it just keeps sending these little waves of energy through that can be snow producers. So that's what these models are wanting to do, and that's why. And it's European and Canadian have been pretty consistent about what they're trying to do. So what we need to do is watch and see if that trend continues. See if everything stays on track. I do believe that the way things are moving, the way the pattern's moving, the timing of it does favor us getting some snow on Monday and Tuesday. How much snow remains to be seen. I don't think we're going to get the crazy amounts that the Europeans spitting out, but it is 2020, so who knows? This might be the year that we get a whole winter of snow in one storm. It's going to happen sooner or later, and why not this year? But so that's kind of where we are. This is a little bit of a disjointed video, but I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what we're watching for. We're mainly watching the upper levels. We're watching whether the upper level low and the surface low are going to be able to phase, whether upper level pieces of energy are going to phase, and when and how. Because if they phase sooner, the snow will be to the farther west. If they phase right on time, the heavier snow will be over us. If they phase later, then the snow's going to be farther east. So timing is everything, as always. I don't think the way if this storm takes the northeast tack that it looks like it's going to, I don't think that warm air wrapping into it's going to be an issue. Let's go back. I'll show you one more thing here. This is the way the European plays this out. So here's 1 o'clock Monday morning. You can see we've got some rain coming in. There's Madison County. So we've got rain coming in. And up here's the 32-degree line, although we all know it doesn't have to be 32 at the surface for it to snow. It's got to be 32 above the surface for it to snow. By 7 o'clock Monday morning, it's beginning to develop some pretty healthy snow. And Madison County's right here, so it's bringing the heaviest swath right up through here. Can't quite see where the surface low is yet, but it's down in there. See, now it shows up. Here's this 994 low. You can see how tight these isobars are. That's a sign of strong winds. You can see at this point the low is over here in West Virginia, just coming out of eastern Kentucky. A lot of rain in eastern Ohio, heavier snow in western Ohio, eastern Indiana. That's at 1 o'clock Monday afternoon. By Monday evening, you can see the low now begins to take a turn more to the north, and so some of the snow backs up. Now you can see it makes more of a northwest turn, so it's bringing even more heavy snow into our area. And it just kind of meanders a little bit, wobbles, heads north, slowly north, gets over eastern Michigan. And you can see it just keeps, it's going to be picking up moisture off of Lake Michigan. It's going to be bringing in a lot of cold air aloft, which helps fluff the snow up and create higher snowfall amounts. And then finally, by Wednesday evening, it begins to weaken. Now we're back up above 1,000 millibar low at the surface. So it's beginning to weaken, and then it begins to take off to the east. So that's kind of the way, like I said, the Euro kind of has it coming up, doing one of these, and that's kind of what the Canadian does also. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. I think the truth is going to lie somewhere between what the GFS is doing and what those two models are doing. I almost hate to throw out any kind of preliminary number. I would say if everything goes right, if you're a snow lover, if everything goes right, this might be a 6 to 10 inch near blizzard or blizzard storm. But all it takes is one thing to time wrong and the whole thing goes kaput. So be realistic, just know that it's possible, and plan ahead. If you're planning to do any kind of traveling, know you need to watch early next week. We'll update later on. So for now, this is by later on, probably Friday. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all for following us and trusting what we do. Thank you to those of you who have gone to madcoweather.com and have donated. Very much appreciated. We need a lot of that if we're going to keep this going. And check out our blogs, and we'll do more updates there. But in the meantime, tomorrow should be a quiet day of weather we plan to take the day off. We hope you all have a great day with your friends and family if you're going anywhere, or just in your home if you're going the quarantine route. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.